Hello everyone. So today we're going to be talking about Latin roots. I'm going to be focusing on the instruction while Julia does a really cool activity. All right, so before we get into what a Latin root is, we want to understand first what is a word root. I think this is something that really needs to be distinguished. Basically, a word root is a word part or a word because it's one of the few that can stand on their own. And then often they're found in Latin or Greek origin and can be combined with other roots to form words and can also be paired with affixes, which is just a really fancy way of saying prefix or a suffix. So today we're going to be focusing on Latin roots specifically now that we know what a word root is. So these are just some simple examples just to be introduced to the subject. We have multi, port, and struct, and I really encourage you guys to use the link that I link below for the Reading Rockets article for root words, roots, and affixes, just because it's very informational, it's very thorough, and it's just a very well done article and has a lot of good resources. So I really encourage you to use that. So while we're breaking down the roots, let's face it, for a lot of kids, roots are really scary just because, at that age, generally fourth and fifth grade, it's very difficult for students to understand that a word has multiple parts to it and that those parts influence the definition. So we're going to be using a technique that my fourth grade teacher used with me, which is called a roots equation. A roots equation is a root plus a prefix, suffix, or co-root, and it equals the correct definition. So we have a word bank, we have odd, multi, port, struct, and frac. And this is just a really fun class activity to practice. Just getting associated with the idea of what a root is and just to see it being displayed. As they advance more, you could add in words where the root is at the end of the word and that type of stuff. But I figured we'd keep it simple for today. So as we're going through these, we're looking for the root for the definition for to hear, the definition having several elements or people. For the third one, we have can be easily carried or moved. For the fourth one, it's the arrangement between the parts or elements. And then for the fifth one, it's the cracking or breaking of a hard object or material. So like I said, these should be pretty simple, at least for the first three. The words that are seen at the top kind of give hint to the definition, which is good because students should see that the definition is influenced by the root of the word because it's the base. It's really, it doesn't change it like a prefix or suffix would, but it does show what the definition is at first. So we've got our first one, which is blank plus double is to hear. And we have luckily seen here, it's up in the word bank. So that implies then that audible means to hear. For the second one, we have pole, which we're going to be looking for the first root, which would be having several elements or people. So we're going to look up and there's a synonym for several, which is many. And that would help students generally see, and if not that thought process, you could also go through the words and just show them what makes sense, what sounds correct. That would be an easy way to break this down also. So the second one is multiple. For the third one, you've got it can be easily carried or moved. So just like the first one, we saw carried or carry before. And so portable would be for the third one. The fourth one is the arrangement between parts or elements. So we've got two words left. We have struck and frac for roots. So let's try to see which one would make the most sense. A fracture doesn't make that much sense. That doesn't sound like the arrangement between parts or elements. So it would be structure and then fracture. So this is just a really simple way to practice. Nothing too crazy, but I just thought it'd be a fun way to get you associated so that you are more aware when you go to Julia now for your instruction.